What's up, everybody, and welcome to Narcocop MMA. I'm your host, Mike, and this is the full card breakdown for UFC Vegas 115, Moicano versus Duncan in the main event. Should be a fun main event, actually. Duncan on a win streak here. Moicano, not so much. He came off that loss to Beneil Dariush, so he needs to get back on track, but we are back this week. We got 13 fights, so they just added a fight for this week's cards. It's going to be interesting. I kind of like that fight quite a bit, that new fight that they added. So we're going to talk about that because that's the first fight of the night. But I'm going to do a really quick and fast breakdown on last week's card. Really quick on this show. A lot of big takes from me, and a lot of them worked out. You know, I had some really good takes, some underdogs that came through. Yanez fight, unfortunately, it turned out to be a draw, which I honestly think it shouldn't have been, but it is what it is. And then some other looks. You know, there was overall. I do want to say something about last week's card. Probably the best card of the year. Really enjoyed the card. Lots of action in UFC Seattle, a lot of finishes. Like the Barber fight was crazy. I mentioned that, Grasso was probably the side there at big plus money. Yusri, big take on me there. Round 3 finish. That was incredible there. Yeah, a couple others. Lance Gibson. A lot of people were frying me on the Lance Gibson side there, where I said potentially Hooper is going to win the fight, but I go, there's no way this price is accurate at minus 300. That was another one. The one that I got completely wrong was Gabriela Fernandez, Casey O'Neill. Did not think that was going to happen, but it did. It was kind of surprising for Casey O'Neill to all of a sudden find that knockout versus a girl that's pretty durable, a good striker. So that was kind of weird there, but it is what it is. That's MMA. It happens. And that's part of the game. She landed a big shot and somehow Fernandez was hurt and she finished her. So props to her. With that being said, please hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you can. It just helps out me coming back on here, wanting to work hard for everybody and wanting them to give them the information that they can use to potentially, make some bets and find some winners. I tell people, do your own work all the time. Don't just follow other people's picks. I think if you have the time to do tape and, mix that in with other people's information, I think that can help you, find winners, find good value on the money lines and stuff like that. So that being said, quick shout out to my chat. Elijah One, let's effing go. Vinny Diaz, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Rian says, bring on Narco. Appreciate you, man. Bloomdog, we feast on the slop. Appreciate you. Dixon Cider, Narco, do you like a nice Reuben corned beef sandwich like Swiss? That was an island coleslaw on it. I actually like a corned beef sandwich, but I don't like Swiss. I don't like cheese that much, so I would eliminate the Swiss and keep everything else. Litz says, Manelo Zecchini fight week. Yep. Definitely his fight week. Glenbot, what's up? Isaac Delgarian, that was line movement before the O'Neal Fernandez fight. The lines flipped. Yeah. Isaac, were you in on it? Were you in on that good stuff there on the line flip? You probably had some inside info. Narco, I'm calling bullshit on Casey wearing 2 left gloves. No, it's dude, I have somebody in Discord posted a photo of, you could clearly tell it was a left glove. Like there was 100% 2 left gloves on her, which is fucking really weird. And in the interview, what's even more weird than anything is in her interview, he asked her, like, didn't you know when you were like she goes, well, I've been out of the cage for so long. I couldn't even tell. Like, there's no way you cannot tell that you have a left-hand glove on your right hand. Like, there's no way. You have to be freaking crazy not to be able to tell. So I don't know what was up with her answer, but it was weird. What is up, my man? Rashid in the house. William Tyner, what's up? It's in the Discord. I think you're in the Discord. You said you were. It's in the Discord. I forgot what channel it's in, but someone posted. I think it was Piasso posted the 2 left gloves. You could clearly see it. I don't know. It's under. Is it general? Is it in a Moicano thread? It could be in a Moicano thread. I think. No, it's not. It's not. It's somewhere in there. Piazzo put it. I don't remember where, but he put it somewhere in there. So props to him. He found the picture, and it's definitely a left-hand glove. All right. Enough of the nonsense from me. Let's move on. I gotta bang this out in no more than an hour, guys. So I'm gonna try to make it quick. I finished my tape study. Everything is done. So we're gonna start out first fight of the night. It's the actual fight that they added just this week. So this is a very short notice for both guys. It is the 11-1 Dakota Hope versus the 17-7-1 Kai Kamaka, and currently Kamaka minus 160 and Hope plus 140. I did the tape this morning for this. I kind of know both guys. Obviously, Kamaka used to be in the UFC. Dakota Hope is a regional guy. He's fought on Fury quite a bit. Explosive, short, stocky. He can wrestle some. I don't think he has the best striking, but he's explosive. Most of his shots are overhand hooks and stuff like that. He does tend to throw some head kicks at times. And again, he mixes in the grappling, right? He mixes in the wrestling. He's more of a explosive athlete than a polished MMA guy. I think he's kind of green. He trains over there at 4-ounce gloves with all those guys, Joshua Van and them. So he is getting good looks. But I think he's a little bit green, honestly. When I watch his tape, Dakota Hope, the best guy he's fought so far is Damian Nelson. Damian Nelson is a well-rounded fighter. Good striking, good takedown defense. He hurt Nelson in round 1 with a big hook, but then in round 2 he got dropped with a straight right hand and got hurt again with like a head kick. So it was kind of a bad look. Obviously, like I said, Nelson's pretty good, but he didn't look great in that fight. And then that 5-round fight against David Bosnick, he hurt Bosnick very bad early, went for the kill, gassed himself out really, really bad in that fight, which ultimately cost him. I think you could have given him the W, honestly, but it ultimately cost him. He has been 5 rounds 3 times. So I think the cardio is fine. I think just in that fight alone against Bosnick, I think he just went rabies in round 1 and gassed himself really, really bad. On the other side, Kai Kamaka, a lot more experience, a lot more, high-level competition. Obviously, he used to be in the UFC. I think he was kind of dealt a bad hand in the UFC. I don't know. I wouldn't have cut him, honestly. He had some really close fights, the draw and the split, and the Jonathan Pierce fight was tough for him early on. But I think he's a well-rounded fighter. He's got good striking. He's got good cardio. He finished Michelle Lima last time out. Michelle Lima came on like 10 days notice. Very, very durable guy is Michelle Lima, but he finished him with a huge right hook in round 3 and dropped him there and finished him. The fight before that, Diego Brandao, who's on a big winning streak of late, I think. It was a close fight. I do think Diego Brandao pressure and just the pace kind of won him the fight. And then when you go back to the PFL fight, that Loughnane fight was pretty damn close. I did think Loughnane won the fight. I don't agree with the split there. But one thing with Kamaka that's kind of sticks out on tape over and over and over again is he gets his calf kicked a lot. It's destroyed in many fights because he's so boxing heavy. He's so lead leg heavy, right? I don't think Dakota Hope has that in him. Honestly, I don't really rate his leg kicks and stuff. If anything, I think Kamaka can actually kick his leg. Dakota Hope has that stance, that wide stance, that like low crotch, He's crouched down, low, and his leg is there to be kicked. So Kamaka can land those calf kicks. And I just think Kamaka's the more well-rounded fighter. You know, he's more technical in the striking. He has the cardio. He has the defensive wrestling. Even if he gets taken down, I don't think Hope is going to control him. So I kind of agree with minus 160. I think this is, you know, in my head when I taped it and the line hadn't came out yet, I'm like, yeah, I kind of think Kamaka's like minus 150, minus 160. Now, athleticism-wise, it's going to be on Hope. Strength, probably Hope. But all the other stuff, I kind of think Kamaka's a little bit more polished, a little bit better. He's been in the UFC before. He trains out of Vegas, so he didn't have to fly in, you know, like Dakota Hope did this, you know, last second fight. So there's some things going on that I think help Kamaka here. Now, with all that being said, Kamaka, for the most part, in his entire career, even in his wins, they tend to be 29-28, you know, close decisions over the years. He doesn't really blow people out of the water. But, and this is a big but with this guy, his last 4 losses have all come by split decision, which is crazy. Diego Brandao split, Loughnane split, Gonzalez split, TJ Brown split. So basically what that tells you is Kamaka is a guy that fights close. Whether he wins or loses, he's going to be there. So when you look at something like this, I think he's a much better play as a dog, right? Because he's in fights, and as a dog, you want to take that shot, you know, plus 150, 160 Kamaka. Why not? He's losing by split for the most part. So I'm going to take a shot there. So, yeah, here at minus 160, I kind of just, it's a pass for me, this fight. But I am going to pick Kai Kamaka here just because the experience, the more well-rounded fighter, I believe, is Kamaka. And Dakota Hope is a little bit too green for me. So, but I do think that Dakota Hope, you can see improvements from this kid and potentially get a lot better. Really quick, let's see. Moy's in the house. What's up? Kamaka is done? I don't know. Is he done? Black Dam, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. The Narco of Dakota has any kind of decent skill. This should be ends in a split decision because all Kamaka does is spar people in the cage. Yeah, that's the thing. He fights close. He fights close. And Dakota is pretty good. He's not a slouch. Are you trolling us with this guy's name, Dave Buznick? No, that's his name. That's his name. Go look at it. Bosnick. It's Bosnick, I believe. David Bosnick. Yep. It's David Bosnick. Guru Griff says, yeah, this might be a weird split either way. Yeah. I mean, it could be. Rashid, if you guys want to make real money, join the Discord. Just do the live betting with Mike. Nothing else. I can guarantee you a profit. If you're too emotional, stay out of betting altogether. Yeah. Link for the Discord is down below for free. That's the free aspect. In the free picks this year that I've given out, I believe I'm 8-2 given out for free. Yeah, I'm 8-2 in my picks given out for free in the Discord. So those have been cashing at an insane rate. But we're 15 units on all my track plays given out there. So for the year, so it's a big plus. This is not counting live, guys. When I tell you not counting live, we've probably won anywhere from 20 to 30 units live, not counting boxing that's given out by Noam. And last week alone, in boxing from the picks that he gave out, let me go over them real quick. A plus 275 dog that won outright, and a plus 138 dog that won outright just in boxing. So I'm telling you guys, it's not, it's $25. Even if you're betting small units, I promise you guys, you will end up pretty big on the year if you're just tailing the plays and in the live chat for every card. All right, with that being said, let's move on. Fight number 2. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 12-8-1 Darius Flowers versus the 12-7-2 Lando Vannata, and Vannata currently minus 250, and the comeback on Flowers at plus 210. I don't even understand this booking. I made a post on X about this booking. Like, what is this booking? I just don't get it. Darius Flowers is 0-3 in the UFC, got cut in, I believe, January of 2025. So a little over a year ago, he got cut. He has his own promotion in the Midwest called Beast Mode Promotions. It's a fight promotion, right? They do jujitsu stuff and fights, right? Locally in the Midwest and Iowa and Indiana and stuff like that. I don't see a lot of training on his footage, on his IG. It seems like he was just concentrating on his promotion. They were pumping out a lot of fight cards and stuff like that. And on the other side, Lando Vannata hasn't fought in 3 years. And I just thought Lando Vannata retired or he got cut, or I looked back and sure enough, he never actually got cut. He just, I don't know, he got injured a couple of times and a couple of fights fell through and he just kind of stopped fighting. If you look at his IG though, he was training. The guy was in the gym. He's been in the gym training. You know, a lot more than what I've seen from Darius Flowers. Now, yes, there's also a lot of pictures where he's shooting and he's doing all this stuff. But if you look at it, he's in the gym. He's training quite a bit, you know. It's not like it's just playtime for him. The other side, it just seems like it was more business. You know, he's more into his business and, you know, props to him. But when you look at the tape on these two guys, Lando Vannata is the much better fighter, man. Like, it's not even close. He's the better striker. He's the better grappler, better jiu-jitsu, better everything. You know, he's just better everything than Darius Flowers. Better cardio, better durability as far as, you know, lasting, because Darius Flowers has a good chin, but he just kind of quits in fights. He gets tired and he just quits. I don't really understand this booking, guys. I don't understand the signing of Darius Flowers back into the UFC after being 0-3. It makes no sense. And then he's fighting a guy like Lando that hasn't fought in 3 years. One thing I can tell you guys, if you kind of want to put it together, it's like, they obviously UFC didn't cut Lando. They like him. He's been in the UFC for a while. They bring him back after a 3-year hiatus, but they bring him back against the guy that was cut in Darius Flowers. I feel like the UFC is doing Lando a favor, honestly. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like this is a favor for him. Here you go. An easy win for your first fight back in 3 years. And I honestly, truly think it's an easy win. I don't see Darius Flowers winning this fight outside maybe a bonk. But even that, like, Vannata's never been finished as far as knocked out in his career. He got hurt and dropped against Zellhuber. But I mean, he survived there, you know, and what's crazy about Lando is he has pretty good wins in his career. You know, he's got some decent wins. Not the best. I'm not saying the best. He has a win over McDessie back in the day when he was pretty good. You know, he faced good level of opposition. He has a draw against Frevola and Green. That might be a first where a guy has 2 draws. So yeah, just Flowers just doesn't throw volume. He's very sloppy doing stuff. He's shooting takedowns, then just pulling guard. It's just Vannata is way, way better, man. He's way better here. And it's honestly, it's not close. Flowers just explosive. Yes, he's explosive. He's an athlete, but that's it, man. He's not good. Technically speaking, his striking sucks. He's throwing these big uppercuts. Like, it's so weird. He's throwing himself way out of position, throwing them and looking for a kill shot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really like Flowers here. He's also coming off like a 2-year layoff too, not to mention. So give me Lando here. Pretty easy. That's who I'm going with. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got in chat? Okay, Narco Series question. How can Darius have a Gracie logo tattooed on his chest? That's where he trained. That's where he trained. I mean, his BJJ is okay. It's not like terrible, terrible, but yeah, it's not very good. He's a purple belt, I think, and he's like one of those, just rolling around all over the ground purple belts. So, yeah, he's not great. Scott B, what do you guys think? I did a parlay. Costa, McMillen, Yakhyaev, Bekoev. Don't do it. Do not add minus 1800s, minus 1500s, bro. Those are just not good in MMA. Those are gonna bite you in the ass very, very bad, and they're adding very, very little value on your parlay. So I wouldn't touch McMillen or Yakhyaev. I do think Yakhyaev wins. Most likely McMillen wins, but there's no way I trust that dude at that price. Nick Pick says, I have Flowers, Vannata overrated in my opinion. Yeah, I disagree. I think Vannata is the much better MMA fighter. But we'll see. Glenbot says Flowers Lando under 2.5 might be the way to go with this fight. Yeah, I mean, that could be one way of playing it for sure. All right. Let's move on. Next fight. It's in the heavyweight division. It is 10-4 Thomas Petersen versus the 6-0 Guilherme Pat. Currently, Pat minus 115 with the comeback on Petersen at plus 105. Wrestler versus striker. I mean, that's all you need to know here. Thomas Petersen is going to need to take this fight to the ground, and Pat needs to keep it standing. Pat is much more athletic. He hits pretty hard. He's got very good footwork and hands, but he also has flaws. When you look at his regional stuff, he's been taken down against guys that are not very good wrestlers. He's extended guys that are terrible fighters to decision somehow. Last fight against AJ Fry. I mean, AJ Fry was an absolute punching bag on the feet, like no head movement. He can't grapple at all. Couldn't get takedowns, just cage pushing the entire fight. Pat didn't finish him somehow, and AJ Fry is tough, but I don't think that was a great look for Pat, getting cage pushed by this guy and just held there for minutes on end. Obviously, Petersen, the chin is a concern. He's been getting, knocked out a couple of times in the UFC. It's not the best look, but I also think Petersen has a grappling edge here, man. Big grappling edge. I think his single legs are very good. He was in deep on Petrino many times, but Petrino is a good counter grappler. He's very strong and athletic himself. So Petersen wasn't able to kind of, he did get takedown, but he wasn't able to hold him down. And Petrino can grapple. So he had problems there. But when you look at guys like Dontel Mays, he had success against Muhammad Usman. He had success against the other guys are just good wrestlers. Gatto is a good wrestler. Pogues had a wrestling background, so he's a pretty good anti-grappler. I don't think Pat is that. I think Pat is not a good wrestler. I think Pat, when you wrestle him a lot, seems to gas quite a bit, man. His gas tank is very suspect to me. I look at the fight, even though he got a round 3 knockout against Quiroz, who's like a juice head type of guy that has no cardio himself. Dude, he got taken down at the end of with 40 seconds in round 2 and just laid there death gassed against the fence, just sitting while Quiroz is on top of his legs, not doing anything. So I kind of like Petersen here, guys, at plus money. I think the wrestling edge, the experience in the UFC, the fact that this is a small cage in the apex, all these things are going to help Petersen. Now, with that being said, Pat can definitely knock out Petersen. Not saying that can't happen. But in an extended fight, right, I like Petersen quite a bit. I think he has the better cardio. I think he has the wrestling edge. And I think Pat hasn't seen someone like Petersen. Petersen has seen Pats before, but Pat has not seen a Petersen, a heavyweight that can wrestle. So, yeah, I kind of like the Petersen side here. Pat can definitely knock him out. Not going to say he can't, but he's carried listen, the guy that he went to decision with in the regionals, Leonardo Moreira, he's 0-1, guys. Okay. His last fight, this 0-1 guy, his last fight, go to Tapology. He got knocked out in round 1 at 185 pounds. And remember, when he fought Guillermo Pat, he fought Pat at heavyweight. And that guy got knocked out against the bum last fight. And Pat carried that guy for 3 rounds. So it's a red flag for me. It's definitely a red flag on Guillermo and Pat. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the wrestler here in Thomas Petersen. Let's move on. Fight 4, it's in the middleweight division. It is the 5-4 Tresean Gore versus the 20-4 Azamat Bekoev, and currently Bekoev minus 500. And the comeback on Tresean Gore, actually it's 550 now, and the comeback on Gore is 400. I think this is a pretty good spot for a bounce back for Azamat Bekoev. You know, a lot of people were very high on Bekoev going into his last fight against Belgarui. After that showing, everybody is like downplaying him again. And now we got to see how good Belgarui is after what he did this past weekend. I mean, the guy is really, really good. He's improved his takedown defense. His striking is on point. Even in that fight, Bekoev had some success. He landed some big shots. He did get some takedowns. He just couldn't hold down Usry, right? This matchup, Tresean Gore to me is just not a very good fighter, man. You know, he's talking about he's in the best shape of his life. You know, he's 205 now leading up to the fight. Last fight, you know, he missed weight against Vieira. And Vieira went on to outstrike this guy like 2 or 3 to 1. Embarrassing performance against a guy that is a jiu-jitsu player. Yes, Vieira has improved his striking, but man, you should not be outstruck like that against a guy like Rodolfo Vieira. I mean, look at the strike numbers, 89 to 41 significant strikes. Rodolfo Vieira, I mean, he outlanded him easily in that fight. Tresean Gore did a good job of stuffing takedowns in that fight, but I don't think Vieira is like a great wrestler for MMA. You know, he hasn't really shown very good wrestling for MMA, so he struggled. He did get one takedown, but didn't really hold on Gore much. And it's like Gore's wins not really aged well at all. I mean, Josh Fremd, not in the UFC, made a stupid mistake in round 2. Antonio Tricoli, another one. The guy's probably not going to be in the UFC. You know, those are his wins. Those are his wins. And you know, he got pretty much destroyed by Tulio. I mean, 127 significant strikes to 17. It was a one-sided beating. He did land a counter shot to hurt Tulio a little bit there, but man, it was one-sided in that fight. And that I tend to think this is going to be one-sided. I mean, Bekoev is a good MMA wrestler. I know Gore has good takedown defense, but I'm pretty sure Bekoev can take him down. And even on the feet, I think Bekoev is even better on the feet. So the pressure, the pace, I think he has all of that in him, Bekoev. He's been 5 rounds multiple times. I think this is a slam dunk matchup for Bekoev. It's just a matter of how do you want to play this? You know, is he going to finish Tresean Gore? Because Tresean Gore has shown good durability, especially against Tulio. I mean, he had a lot of shots before he got finished. I tend to lean Bekoev decision more, but I honestly think it could finish. You know, the over 2.5 or the 1.5, sorry, is minus 175, and the fight goes is plus 180. So should be getting a good number on Bekoev decision. Maybe we're going to look at that. We'll see. I'm not really sure. It's still going to dig more tape and do more studying, but I think this is Bekoev all day. I don't think it's close. Let's see. What do we got here? Chronic Combat, what's up? Finally live here. Awesome content. Love the extra show earlier in the week. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. All right. Let's move on. Next fight. It is in the women's flyweight division. It is the 9-2-2 Melissa Gatto versus the 8-4 Deanny Barbosa. And currently Barbosa is minus 130, and the comeback on Melissa Gatto at plus 110. Very, very good matchup here. Good matchmaking here. Melissa Gatto, she is coming off a long layoff here. I think it's 2 years. Yeah, it's almost 2 years since she last fought Tamaris Vidal. And I made the best call of my life in the Lambeau Place podcast, where I said Melissa Gatto's live to get a boob shot KO against Tamaris Vidal. And sure enough, she hit her with a boob shot and she KO'd her with it. It was freaking crazy. It happened, and I had called it prior to that, which is insane. I posted it on X, the clip of it. But Melissa Gatto, like, she's well-rounded. You know, she has good grappling skills. I think her BJJ is really good. She just got her black belt. She's very, very dangerous on the mat, in my opinion, even off her back. And her striking is a little sloppy, in my opinion. She's got good kicks. Her teeps are good. Her kicks are good. I think her 1-2 is sloppy. You know, she tends to throw her 1-2 and kind of throw herself forward, off balance, kind of with her head down when she throws the 2. I don't like seeing that. She does that quite often because she's trying to throw so hard. I get it, but she's throwing so hard that she's leaning into her punches, falling over. She's faced good girls. You know, her loss to Tracy Cortez was competitive. Her loss to Ariane Lipsky, competitive again. She has a win over Carol Hossa, you know, in the regional scene. So that was a good submission win against Carol Hossa. But the thing with Melissa Gatto I don't like quite a bit is that if you take her down, she will play jiu-jitsu off her back. She will lose minutes off her back just playing jiu-jitsu. And I don't like that in a fight against Deanny Barbosa, because I was kind of on the side that Deanny Barbosa is not very good. When she first came into the UFC, I'm like, this girl doesn't look the part. She's pretty gassy. I don't like what I've seen from her, you know, in her regional tape on LFA and stuff like that. She tends to gas. You know, she was knocked out in regionals versus Josiane Nunez. But I do think this girl has improved. You know, her striking looks good. It's very technical, in my opinion, her striking. She's got good footwork. That judo base really, really helps her a lot in the clinch, man. It's helped her quite a bit in a lot of these fights that I've watched, where she uses her judo to get girls down. Last fight against Karine Silva, I was quite surprised, because going into the fight, I said to myself that Karine Silva should be the more physical girl. She's very physical. She's strong in the clinch positions. And honestly, Deanny Barbosa was winning those positions. She was the one that was getting on top of Karine Silva. And, you know, the fight was, they said unanimous. Karine, was a very, very close fight, to be fair. I do think Karine kind of won because of that weird triangle that she held forever with 2 arms in. It was just very, very weird. But like, even in the Maverick fight, you know, it was a back and forth, close kind of fight, you know. And Maverick is a good wrestler, you know, and Barbosa was able to actually take her down as well in that fight. So the thing to me here is, like, Gatto does go for takedowns, but her takedowns are more upper body trips type of takedowns. Those are very, very hard against a very good judo player like Barbosa. I mean, she's got a black belt in judo. I think because of the last fight, I think Barbosa is a little bit more physical and stronger in the clinch. I think she's going to be more stronger there. I think she's the better technical striker of the two. She's got better footwork, in my opinion. So I lean Barbosa here. Going into tape, I thought Gatto was going to be the side at plus money, but I'm on the other side. I think Barbosa is a little bit better, a little bit more polished, in my opinion. And then potentially 2-year layoff for Melissa Gatto could hurt her a little bit here. And then there's also that portion of the fight where Barbosa could get on top, and Gatto will probably be playing jiu-jitsu. Not to say that she can't be dangerous there, but Barbosa is very competent when it comes to jiu-jitsu as well. I think she's a black belt as well. So it's a close fight. It's lined a close fight. I'm going to go with Deanny Barbosa here. Moving on. Next fight in the flyweight division. It is the 8-2 Stuart Nicoll versus the 14-5 Alessandro Costa. Costa currently minus 400, and the comeback on Nicoll at plus 330. Nicoll's bad, man. I bet against him last fight in the Rocha fight. I took Rocha. It was like pick'em area. He dominated this dude. Nicoll cannot strike a lick, man. This guy's a terrible, terrible. When I tell you, he is probably, and I'm not joking, for the lighter weight divisions, the flyweight division, this guy might be the worst striker in the flyweight division I've ever seen. Complete and utter bum when it comes to striking. I can't believe, after rewatching a lot of the tape, I can't believe how bad of a striker he is. He is absolutely horrific in the striking. And then, his takedown, his grappling is fine. It's okay. It's pretty good. But he's facing a guy that's a better grappler than him. Alessandro Costa is a much better grappler than Stuart Nicoll, right? So then how does he win? How does he even win this fight? He can't out-grapple Costa. He's not going to outstrike Costa. I could tell you that for sure. How the fuck does he win this fight? You know how? He doesn't win this fight because this guy is not good. He's 0-2 in the UFC. He is going to get destroyed by Alessandro Costa. And this is coming from a guy that tells you that I don't really think Alessandro Costa is all that good, because I bet against him last time out as a huge dog, plus 400 dog or whatever. Let me see what the line was. Let's see here. Where is it? What was the line on Alden Correa? Yeah, Alden Correa was like plus 3 something, right? And I bet Alden Correa against Costa. I'm like, this line's crazy. Costa's not that good to be that big of a favorite against a good fighter, right? I'm telling you the opposite here, saying that minus 400 is probably value, and I never say that in this fight against Stuart Nicoll, who I don't rate at all. This guy's bottom tier, terrible. He should be out of the UFC. Bad fighter. He's got to fly all the way from Australia, right? He's got to fly all the way from Australia into the Apex against the guy that's much better everywhere. This guy is not good, man. Like it's just bad news for him here. He lost to Aguilar via guillotine. He fell off the back. He's screwed majorly here. Unless Alessandro gets injured or something like he did. I don't know. I don't think he loses here. I really don't. So I like Alessandro quite a bit here. But again, he's minus 400 for a reason. So Glenbot says, I have 4 unit on it, but it's my favorite play on the card. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Yanano says he could sub Costa, though. No, he ain't subbing Costa. The jiu-jitsu level is different, bro. Like, I understand he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but there's levels of jiu-jitsu. Costa's up here. This guy's down here. He's not subbing Alessandro Costa. I can promise you that. Costa's jiu-jitsu level is like 5 times higher than Nicoll's. They're both black belts, but they're different level black belts, in my opinion, and who they train with. Let's move on. Next fight, it is in the bantamweight division. It is a 7-4 Haley Cowan versus the 5-1 Alice Pereira. And currently, Alice Pereira minus 120, and the comeback on Haley Cowan at plus 100. This is a fight, ladies and gentlemen, I want nothing to do with. Absolutely nothing to do with this fight. This is low level as it gets for women's MMA. I made the huge mistake of playing Alice Pereira in her UFC debut because I honestly thought Montserrat Rendon is the bottom of the barrel in the division, and she somehow found a way to lose that fight against Rendon and actually get hurt on the feet against Rendon, which is mind-boggling. Rendon is probably one of the worst strikers when it comes to the bantamweight division in the UFC for women's, and somehow she hurt Alice Pereira in that fight. I feel like this is the thing that is a little bit confusing in that fight is Alice Pereira fought like a very nervous kind of looking fight, like just running, circling. She looked super nervous. She was 19 years old. When you watch her regional tape, she's fought very low level girls, but she was way more aggressive. You know, she's way more aggressive. She even shot a lot of takedowns in the regionals. She went 5 rounds. So in that UFC debut, she was just running away, running. It was extremely weird fight. Also, the other thing is I don't think she's 5'8" like they list her as. I think she's more like 5'11". This chick is very, very tall. She's not 5'8". I'm pretty sure she's not that tall. She's taller. And then on the other side, it's like Haley Cowan is, you know, she has that gymnast background. She's, you know, pretty athletic. But she's also 34 years old. You know, she's getting up there. She doesn't have a lot of like fight experience for the most part. You know, she has 11 fights, which is fine. But, you know, she's 0-2 in her last 2 fights. She got finished by Cornell via rear naked choke, which is not the best look, to be honest. You know, I understand Moise is saying she was hurt. He's saying she tore her meniscus in round 1 against Cornell, needs surgery. Fine. But she's had some sketchy moments before that, man. I mean, look at the LFA fight against this Kelly Clayton chick. That's 2-2. That's a soccer mom. She got choked out there. It's a terrible look, you know? Like, it's just a bad look. She went to split against a girl like Brittany Cloudy, who's 6-6. Can't grapple a lick, that girl Cloudy. All she does is strike, and somehow went to split with her. It's just very hard to trust Cowan. You know, 1 fight in the last 3 years. You're counting on her in this fight to get takedowns. I think she can potentially get takedowns. I'm not saying she can't. I just can't pick a girl here to save my life because I think these 2 girls are both bad. I'm going to lean Haley Cowan just because of the grappling. But the other thing is we've never really seen Alice Pereira on her back for extended periods. So, like, who's to think that maybe she can easily get up against Cowan? It's not like Cowan's like some great grappler. So, it's a big pass for me. I'm going to pick a winner, and the winner is going to be Haley Cowan just via wrestling and via having a little bit more experience, being a little bit older. You know, she's 34 compared to 20. But would you be surprised if Alice Pereira came in here and looked a lot better after her UFC debut? Like, I wouldn't. She could look better. She could look a little not as nervous and stuff. And she's training with seems like she's training with Melissa Gatto a ton for this camp. They were training together a lot. So she could be getting better, man. Like, I don't want to write her off. She's huge for the division. She's tall, long. Maybe she improves. But yeah, for now, I'm going to go with Haley Cowan just because of the grappling. Moving on. Next fight, it is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 17-9 Brenson Ribeiro versus the 8-0 Abdul Rahman Yakhyaev. Currently, Yakhyaev minus 1,800 and the comeback on Ribeiro plus 900. I mean, what's there to see here? Like, Yakhyaev, southpaw, very, very good movement, good striking, good wrestling. He's very well-rounded, honestly. The guy's still only 25. So, yes, I feel like he's probably going to be improving. And honestly, he already looks good. Like, he already looks good. The only thing I will say is, like, 30-second knockout, 33-second finish last fight. Not a lot of cage time. Last 4 fights, all in round 1. The only fight that he went 5 rounds against Kovalenko. There's a lot of sloppy stuff going on. He was tired, but, you know, early on, he looked pretty good. You know, he was landing good. He's pretty fast. He's got power in his hands. It seems like he hurts almost everybody he lands on. So he does have power. Like Ribeiro probably needs a meme. He needs a big shot meme. He does have power. Ribeiro does have power, and he goes for submissions. But he also gets clipped and gets hurt a lot and just kind of gives up. Like if you watch Ribeiro, he's looking okay against Omar Sy, then gets clipped, hurt, and then just gives up, shells up. Same thing against Mirzakhanov. He's looking okay, gets hurt with the left hand, and then just shells up again. So I feel like this guy is there to be taken. He's been knocked out and finished 7 out of his 9 losses. I think he gets finished here. Yakhyaev is pretty damn good. I think the UFC knows what they're doing. 25-year-old that's exciting. He's a finisher. He's not the typical just grapple and lay on top of you type of guy. So I think the price is what it is. Don't play that price, but I think he's going to finish probably very, very early here. So yeah, there's not much else to say. Moving on. Next fight. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 14-0 Rafael Estevam versus the 9-2 Ethan Ewing. Currently, Ethan Ewing minus 135, actually minus 142. And the comeback on Estevam at plus 122. Estevam moving up to 35 after missing weight yet again. UFC was tired of his shenanigans. They're like, no more. You are moving up, my friend. Last fight against Buenas, he missed by 4 pounds. It's unacceptable. The same thing against Charles Johnson. He missed by a couple of pounds. And he kind of weight bullied his way in kind of both of those fights. He's a very good grappler. I will give him that. Like extremely good grappling. Very, very good jiu-jitsu. High-level jiu-jitsu player, black belt, dangerous on the mat. You need to be very careful when you're on the mat with this guy. But we've seen him slow down in almost all of his round 3s. Last fight against Buenas, not so much, but Buenas is kind of also a gasser, so kind of helped him. His round 3 looked good, but he slowed down against Charles Johnson big time in rounds 2 and 3. And the same thing with the Aguilar fight. He was super tired in round 3. I couldn't find the Eric Visconti fight. That's the fight he fought at 135. And the reason why I wanted to find that fight is I wanted to see what his cardio looked like in a 3-round fight against Eric Visconti. And, that was 5 years ago plus, but I still wanted to see what does this guy look like at 35 if he didn't cut and kill himself to 25. Did his cardio look better against a guy like Visconti? By the way, Visconti, very good fighter. Very good. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. He can grapple and he can strike. So it's a very good win. And I wanted to see, what does Estevam look like at 35 over 3 rounds, right? Because I think that's important to me in this kind of fight. Because his opponent, Ethan Ewing, has very good cardio. He's got exceptional cardio. He's got exceptional. When I tell you guys, I love this guy's striking. Very good head movement. Very good footwork. Hard to land flush on him. And he's very, very good at changing speed on his punches, guys. This guy's touch, 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 boom, power. Very, very good at that. And he tricks people and he lands big shots and knocks them out. And he has power in his hands. And guess what? I had a bet on Ethan Ewing in his last fight at plus 440. I had a bet on him. Huge underdog. No one gave him a shot against Malcolm Wallmaker. And I said, this guy is very good. When I watched his tape, I was amazed at how good he was. Good anti-wrestler. He can wrestle himself. He actually was a D1 wrestler for 1 year. Forgot what university it was, but he has wrestling himself. He can wrestle. And he's shown a pretty damn good get-up game from what I've seen. Now, the issue is he's never really faced a guy like Estevam, a good damn grappler who is relentless with the grappling. The only guy that attempted to grapple him was Billy Brand. He got him down against the fence a little. He got back up. Billy Brand immediately shot again. He got back up again and then knocked out Billy Brand. That was the only fight that I found that he got grappled in on his butt. I will say he lost his pro debut against Edwin Cooper Jr., who's a D1 wrestler, very, very good wrestler. I'm assuming he got grappled there in that fight. That's how Edwin Cooper Jr. fights. So That's one fight. Again, I couldn't find that fight. I wanted to see, what he's going to look like in that fight. The thing with this fight is I favor Ethan Ewing, honestly, because I think round 3, he wins at a super, super high clip. Probably loses round 1 at a decent clip to a guy like Estevam that mostly wins round 1s. But the thing to me is like, I feel like Ewing can finish him later. He hits hard. He works the body. He's got good knees, good kicks. But I also think he can get taken down early, and it could get dangerous for him very, very early in this fight. So I feel like this is a fight that you probably should be live betting. If you're going to take a side early, maybe it's Estevam at plus money. I think he can get a takedown early. But I think Ewing can really put it on this guy in round 3, man. I really do, because he's looked very, very good late in fights. He has power. He has power for the division. He's fought at 45 for many, many fights he's had at 45. You saw him hurt Wellmaker a couple of times. Wellmaker's super tough as well. If those shots are landing on Estevam as he's tired in round 3, probably he's going to get finished. I like Ewing. I like Ewing to win this fight. But I truly think it might be a better live bet spot, because I do think Estevam is going to sell out for takedowns early. That's the thing. The way he fights is he's going to sell out for takedowns. If Ewing fights back up and gets back up and makes this guy work, Estevam is in trouble. Big, big trouble, in my opinion. But if he keeps him down, gets the body triangle, stuff like that, that's when you have to reevaluate and say, hey, did Estevam really gas or blow himself out here? Because if he does that with with ease and doesn't waste a lot of energy, then he could probably do that in round 2 as well. So you have to be careful with this fight, in my opinion. But I like the Ewing side. I like this kid, man. I think he's really, really good. And I know he went from a huge underdog against Wellmaker to a favorite here against a different type of fighter, grappler in Estevam. I still think that, he's shown good takedown defense and anti-wrestling, and he has a wrestling background. That's the thing. When you look at him fight, you'd think he's a boxer, but this guy has a wrestling background. The only thing I will say, when you stalk this guy's IG, 9 weeks ago, he went to a doctor. He had an issue with, apparently in the Wellmaker fight, he hurt his right knee and left shoulder. He got PRP injections for both. It seems like he was fine. But then now when you look at his IG, he's got a huge brace on his left knee, man. Big brace. One of those big, thick braces that you don't really want to see. So it's something to monitor. I'm not saying he's got a left knee injury. Just be careful. That knee, it's a big brace. He's been training with that brace, it seems like, for weeks. I don't know what the deal is, but it's the opposite knee of what he was saying that he went to the doctor for, the PRP injections. So be careful with that. Knee injury is never a great thing when you're going up against a grappler. You need your movement and stuff like that. But I'm just giving people a heads up of what I saw on his Instagram. Next fight, it is in the featherweight division. It is the 11-2 Robert Ruchala versus the 16-3 Jose Delano. And currently, Jose Delano minus 350 in the comeback on Ruchala at plus 285. I think this is a very good fight. Ruchala still only 27. He has a lot of experience in KSW. He has a lot of experience against actually high-level fighters at KSW. When you look at his losses, Saladin Parnasse, one of the best fighters in the world that's not in the UFC currently. Extremely good fighter, extremely well-rounded. Even though he dominated that fight, did Parnasse, and got the finish late. Still, he was in that fight. He did get finished late. Yakhyaev, Lom Ali Yakhyaev, very good fighter, man. Really, really good fighter. 24-7 guy. Has a lot of power in his hands. Very good wrestler. Yakhyaev was winning that fight up until Ruchala got on top of him and finished. But still, it's a good win. Casper Formella, very good win again. Formella's a tank, man. This guy's literally a tank. Short, stocky tank. Very good win there for him as well. So he has some good wins. And then when you look at the Gomes fight, You know, I had a pick on Gomes. It was closer than I thought it was. You know, it was in France, so Gomes got the nod. I do think he won the fight, but that was a pretty fucking close fight. That was a pretty close fight against Gomes, who's a technical striker. He's good takedown defense, good scrambling. So it was Ruchala looked good for his UFC debut, I have to say. Now he's facing a guy in Jose Delano that I'm very high on. Exceptional footwork, very good striking. I mean, good with all of his limbs, man. Like good step and knees, very good left hand, straight down the pipe, good body shots, good grappling, good defensive grappling, good get-up game, jiu-jitsu. He's got the whole game. Good cardio. He's got the entire game. Does Jose Delano. Probably one of the best prospects, honestly, to come out of Dana White's Contender Series from last year. But with all that being said, man, Ruchala makes things dirty. Ruchala throws spinning kicks, spinning elbows. He's a dangerous guy in the cage, and he can grapple some. You know, I think he could potentially get down Jose Delano in the cage. It's a smaller cage. I think that kind of favors Ruchala, where he wants to just explode and try to get maybe takedowns, mix those in. He's younger by 2 years. He's at American Top Team, so he's getting better. The line's a little bit too wide here. I mean, I'm going to go with Jose Delano to win this fight, but I do think from a money line perspective, this is way too wide, minus 350. I think it's, I would be okay with Delano being like 70%, range, as opposed to this 77 range. I think it's a little bit too high here. So Ruchala could potentially make this close. It's a very, very good fight, in my opinion. Very good job by the UFC to matchmake these guys, honestly. But they're not doing Delano a favor. They're not giving him a layup here in his UFC debut. What do we got? Ruchala looked good in KSW. Yeah, I mean, he looked fine. And he was younger then. KB says Delano will show levels. He could. Bloomdog, yes, I picked Ewing as my official pick to win. Yep. Ruchala training with Gamera ATT now, but also in Poland. Yep. He's at ATT. He's been training with him a lot. Delano 30-27, potentially, yes. But you got to look at this price. It's minus 350. He's a good fighter. Excellent striking, good footwork, good cardio. He's the better fighter. Don't get me wrong. If you ask me who's the better fighter, it's definitely Jose Delano. But there is a thing where, there's betting lines, and this line to me is just a little too wide. It's too wide. Let's move on. Next fight. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 11-4 Manolo Zecchini versus the 9-0 Tommy McMillen. And currently, Mr. McMillen's minus 1,100, and the comeback on Zecchini plus 775. Zecchini's been out of the cage for a while, a couple of years. I researched why to see what happened with this guy. Apparently, he had a very bad shoulder injury. He had to get out. He hasn't fought in 2.5 years since that Morgan Charrier fight. Apparently, he went into that fight. The first punch he threw, he messed up his arm, his shoulder, and then he got body kicked and finished. I'm telling you guys right now, Tommy McMillen is a fade spot waiting to happen. I don't know if it's going to be this fight. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be this fight. Manolo does throw hard. He's got decent striking. He grapples some. I don't think he's a good fighter. I want to preface this by saying I don't even think this guy might be a UFC level fighter, right? And he trains at Jackson Wink. He might not even be UFC level, but Tommy McMillen is just not a minus 1,100 fighter, guys. His defense is completely non-existent. No existence of defense. He almost got knocked out 2-3 times in his last fight against Magoyan, who's a good fighter, but he's a wrestler. He's not a striker, and he hurt him multiple times on the feet. Magoyan hurt him multiple times on the feet, and he's not a striker, right? McMillen has decent offensive skills, but this is not fucking Sean O'Malley, guys. This is not Sean O'Malley. He has good takedown defense, sure. Anti-grapple, sure. Does he use his grappling in his fights? No. all he does do is want to strike. And he's very void defensively. He's going to get cracked. He's going to get knocked out eventually. I don't know if this is the spot, but Tommy McMillen is not it at minus 1,100. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to pick him to win. He's a huge favorite. But from a betting perspective, you can only go one side. And I think from a betting perspective, you only take the huge dog. You cannot bet minus 1,100 on this guy. The LP says, big ups, Tim and Narco plus Noam, sharpest in the game. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Apparently, you are in the Discord, the LP. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to have to figure it out. Integral says, Ruchala did a weight cut mistake in his debut. Did he? I didn't know about that. What was the weight cut mistake? He didn't miss weight, did he? I don't think Ruchala missed weight. Unless I'm mistaken. No. He didn't miss weight. Maybe it was a tough weight cut, he's saying. I don't know. Tommy has no guard, none. Yep. Morgan Chartier, he didn't obliterate him. He gave him a body kick and finished him. They were striking like back and forth, and then he hit him with a body kick and finished him. I think McMillen is the best fighter in the world. All right, put all your money on McMillen then. Fred says, Costa minus 400 is value, but let's not forget he said Karascate minus 180 was value against Regina Terran. Just stick to live betting, guys. Okay, thank you for your service. But you handpick one fight, but you don't talk about all the rest that I said last week. You handpick one fight that I didn't get right. I'm not going to get all of them right. Of course I'm not. But you're an idiot. So I'm not gonna. I shouldn't put up your comment anyways. KB definitely fading McMillan in the future, but Zecchini is a gift to him from the matchmakers. I think so too. I agree with you. I think they're kind of gifting him a guy that hasn't fought in forever, and they're like, okay, here you go. You should get a finish against this guy, right? But I don't even think like the thing is like you had something with O'Malley. O'Malley's like, he's fun, so but O'Malley's skilled. I don't think Tommy McMillen is skilled. That's the issue with Tommy McMillen. Let's see. Integral says Ruchala made weight, but it took a heavy toll on his health. Joanna was pissed at him for it, which is why he didn't perform as well as he should have in his debut. That's good. That's good info. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then, and it harmed his, and he still looked pretty decent. I mean, he has good cardio. The thing is, he's in over his head in the striking in this fight. I think he's going to be in big trouble if he strikes. He needs to grapple. Moving on, co-main event of the night. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 12-3 Tabitha Ricci versus the 22-4 Virna Jandiroba. Jandiroba minus 115 and the comeback on Ricci at minus 105. This is an interesting co-main. Virna coming off that loss at 37 years old. She's going to be 38 here in a month or so. She's coming off that loss for the title against Mackenzie Dern, 5 rounds. It was a close fight. She got multiple takedowns, but Dern is kind of easy to get takedown. She's okay with getting taken down and playing off her back and stuff like that. I will say that going over Jandiroba's tape, I think her striking kind of has improved. I mean, she's throwing more straight shots, 1-2s, stuff like that. And also want to mention that she somehow manages, even though I don't think her wrestling is great, she somehow manages to get every one of her opponents on the ground. Like she just has all of them. Lupi Godinez is good wrestler. She's taken her down. Amanda Lemos, not easy to take down, took her down. Zhao Yunan 3 times. The only one that she didn't take down was Murata, who has a wrestling background, but she outstruck her too, so she didn't really need to. But, and this is a big but, I think Tabitha Ricci is hard to take down. She's more physical. She's stockier, like short, stocky kind of girl. That not easy to take down. Jiu-jitsu background. She has judo also. She's one of those girls that's not going to be easy to take down. And I think she's not the much better striker, but I just think she has way more volume. She just does more in the cage that will get her a win here, in my opinion. She's going to do more. I think she's just going to throw more. She's younger by 6 years, which is a big thing here. And she's going to be faster, way faster than Verna Jandiroba. Now, Jandiroba, you could see she has a 3-inch reach advantage, a 2-inch height advantage. She's going to be a little bit bigger, but she's way slower, man. Way slower than Ricci. Ricci's way faster. I think in the clinch, even Ricci's much stronger in the clinch than she is. She has the judo background, like I said, so it's not going to be easy to take her down. And even when she gets taken down, the thing that I like about Ricci is she doesn't play off her back. She's immediately scrambling to get back up. So I like that aspect of Tabitha Ricci in this fight, because if Jandiroba takes her down, she's not going to just accept it. You know, she's going to scramble. She's going to try to get back up. This is a co-main event. I think, you know, I don't want to say, oh, you know, UFC likes, I mean, they clearly like Tabitha Ricci more than a girl like Jandiroba. Like, she's more marketable, blah, blah, blah. They're putting in a co-main event spot here. Doesn't mean she's going to win, but the thing is with Jandiroba is, like, she's getting old, man. 37, gonna turn 38. She just fought for the interim title. Usually girls or even men kind of go downhill after that, you know, especially at this age. I'm gonna go with the younger, a little bit more well-rounded fighter in Tabitha Ricci. You know, she probably should be a slight favorite, not the dog in this spot. I get why they're making Jandiroba the favorite here, because of the grappling upside. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's right. Isn't Verna dating, you know, opposite one? It's Ricci that's dating Kale Walsh. Jewish Better says, back to Ricci KO. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that was kind of a fluke KO, man. Like, you could see the one elbow like hit her right in the eye and kind of damaged her. And then she landed subsequent elbows and kind of like finished rebounds. I don't think that happens here. I mean, it could, but it would be very awkward. I don't think Ricci has power in her hands to get it like that. Maybe in a clinch, but I think fight goes here probably at a very high clip. But yeah, let's move on. I need to finish this up. Last fight of the night. It is the main event. It is in the lightweight division. It's a 27-1 Renato Moicano versus the 15-2 Chris Duncan. And currently Duncan is minus 190. And the comeback on Moicano at plus 165. This is a weird fight because, first of all, these guys are both ATT guys. Moicano has his own gym, but he still trains at ATT. I listened to Duncan's interview, and he said he hasn't really seen Moicano in the gym much, only 2 days a week, so he doesn't know where he's training. And the other thing is, like, with the interview is, like, Duncan's kind of saying, you know, Moicano was given an option of different names to accept the fight against who he wants, and he chose Duncan. And Duncan, when he said that, is like, man, I'm very surprised he chose me, because we've sparred a bunch of times, and it seemed like he was saying that he got the best of Moicano all the time. That's what it seemed like it said to me. Now, with that being said, sparring is one thing, fighting is another. Who knows how hard Moicano was going? You know, I don't know. But man, you cannot overlook the fact that Moicano looked awful in rounds 2 and 3 against Benny. He looked death gassed in round 3, threw like nothing, absolutely nothing, just getting hit. Round 2, just laying on his back the entire round. Terrible look, man. I don't know what was going on. Like, he dropped. First of all, Benny was kicking his ass on the feet, if you watch that fight, up until the knockdown. And Renato knocked him down towards the end of the round. But then the entire fight, he got dominated, dude. Outside the knockdown, Renato Moicano got dominated in that fight against kind of an old washed Benny, man. That Benny is like not a good version of Benny, right? You know, Moicano had good wins prior to that, right? He had a very good win against BSD. He had a very good win against Jalen Turner. But I kind of feel like this is a Chris Duncan spot. The only issue, and this is a big issue for me from what I've seen on tape, is that when Duncan gets taken down, he always seems to give up his back. He always turtles. He always gives up his back. He did it against Vucenic. He did it against Rebecca 2 times. He did it. Who else did he do it against? Oh, he did it against Manuel Torres. Gave up his back there and got subbed. It's one of those things where he seems to always give up his back. And from his interview, he says, I don't want to give up my back against Moicano. He kind of already knows Moicano's super dangerous if he gets your back. Whether he's gotten before in training or not, I don't know. But he has a clear cardio edge here. He's younger by 4 years. His trajectory is higher. The UFC's given him a main event spot. I think they want him. He's an exciting fighter. Look at his fights. I mean, they're all exciting. Back and forth wars. Moicano has decent striking, but just not enough volume, man. Not enough pop in his hands, in my opinion. Duncan's the much harder hitter. Duncan's probably much stronger as well in the clinch, in my opinion. And he has the way better cardio. So this fight is Moicano going to get to the back early? He needs to get there early because I don't think this guy can sustain his cardio. I think Duncan down the stretch is going to be way better. It's all about, can Moicano get this guy down and get to these advantageous positions? And that's the only thing in this fight. Otherwise, if he can't, he's not winning this fight. Duncan's going to knock him out. I'm almost certain Duncan's going to knock him out if Moicano doesn't get the sub. That's how I feel about this fight. I feel like this fight, even though Duncan in the interview said, round 4 or 5, I don't think it's getting that far, man. I really don't think it's getting to rounds 4 and 5. I think you're going to end in rounds 1, 2, or 3 at most. Either Moicano, both guys early. I think both guys early, or Duncan later, rounds 2 and 3. I think he hits harder. He's got more power. He's got more durability at this point. He's younger, better cardio. All the things lean Duncan except the jiu-jitsu and the back takes of Moicano. I think he can get to the back because I've seen it from Duncan where he messes around giving up his back. But maybe in this spot, he knows not to give up his back to Moicano. He also said he went into the fight against Torres with an MCL injury to his knee. So maybe that played a part in what happened there. But and you got to remember, he hurt Torres right away with the first punch in that fight. You would think that Torres is probably way more durable than Moicano too. So I don't think this fight's hitting the scorecards. It's finishing ITD. I think that's a good way of maybe parlaying ITD in this fight. Fight doesn't end. Fight doesn't go with, Costa, or in my opinion, something like that. Costa, Bekoev, and fight doesn't go. Something like that, I think, would give you like maybe plus money even with those 3. Yeah, but that's it. All 13 fights. I appreciate all of you guys. Again, the link in my Discord is down below for free. If you want to click that, get in for free. And then if you want to pay, it's $25 a month. Worth every penny. That's all I'm going to tell you guys. It's worth every penny. We won almost 3 units last week, not counting live. I won over 5K last week, including live, including the boxing. It was great. Appreciate everybody in here. 295 live viewers. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do everything to help my algorithm. Appreciate you all. I will be back on Friday. Lambo Plays podcast with Timothy Troiano, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hit 7 Lambos last week. 7 Lambos, including the U3 round 3 at plus 1,400. So we're back at it again in the saddle this week. I finished tape early, feeling good. I will have a bunch of plays probably this week. I like a lot of props. I'm just waiting for books to open them. They will all be posted in the Discord. Again, thank you for all the support. Appreciate you all. Good luck this week. And let's catch.